Hey guys, RevShadow508 here, bringing you a video on my Trickster today. This one's for Revengeance 777, my buddy who I play this game with a lot. Just to sort of showcase him how I've been playing my Trickster and how to sort of do a caster build. So first off, we'll just show my abilities and stuff here, and then we'll get into the gear. So obviously I'm just using the base 3 skills, sort of like he's been using. Temporal Blade, Slow Trap, Hunt Prey. Set up in the Reaver tree. I've got mostly anomaly points and resistance piercing. They're a good combination between the two. I also have the decreased cooldown for damage skills here. And then, yeah, I've gone with the firepower up here because I've got so much anomaly power from concentration, as well as these other passives, which I'll get into in a section. This will give you a nice little boost to nice little boost to your firepower, and which is, you know, just further accelerated by everything else in this trees. Personally, I just like this better than this skill right here, which, you know, makes it so instead of healing, you just get more shields, because with this setup, as you'll see, you're going to get plenty of shields, especially with Pax points. So to go in with this stuff and just sort of explain it, each of these give 50% anomaly power for 10 seconds after using the allocated skill. So this one will be what's the level called? Slow Trap. This is Hunt Prey, and then this will be Temporal Blade. And my understanding is these stack, so each of them can be, like, all of them can be active at once, to my understanding, which can make Temporal Blade hit pretty freaking hard. Also, it will inadvertently affect your firepower here. The more anomaly power you have at a time, the more firepower you have. This gives you resistance piercing, which makes just anything that does anomaly damage do more damage, and this is after using Hunt Prey. So generally, when you use Hunt Prey, you're going to teleport in, you're going to drop Slow Trap, and then you're going to Temporal Blade. Like, you're going to do it in that order, because then you get all your buffs up. If you have 2 charges of Temporal Blade, like I do, there are a lot of times where I'll just use it twice in sequence to get it back on cooldown. We also have this here, which is basically at the end of a damage skill, you get armor piercing and resistance piercing. So that's more resistance piercing for, you know, when you have 2 temporal blades. So you use one, the second one's going to hit way harder, or even harder, because it's going to activate both this, Atomic Acceleration, and Psychon of the Void. So you get that resistance piercing and that temporal blade. Also afterwards, you know, again, you get some armor piercing, so that helps your bullets as well, plus all the anomaly power buffs just makes your gun hit that much harder, which I'll get into the loadout and what gun I use mainly when doing this, and also I'll show it off a bit. And this is also just really, really good because when you teleport in, generally you're teleporting into a group of enemies, which is then just going to make your temporal blades hit even harder and inadvertently get you even more firepower. Next, we'll cover Pax points real quick. I've gone into Spectre right now. I'm not really married to this, but all this stuff seemed to be pretty good in accumulation. So this is damaging enemies with a damage skill, increases your damage by 10% for 5 seconds. That includes your guns as well, which I just felt was really good, especially because I'm using 2 temporal blades in a row. You know, even more damage for the second temporal blade. Activating skill grants you anomaly power. Again, just even more anomaly power along with that, which then translates to firepower because of the skill I went over in the Trickster tree. This gets you even more shields overall, which is, you know, why I like, you know, shields aren't really a problem with this build, like I was saying earlier, once you have this skill right here, especially if you're casting abilities as often as I do. Harrowing, increase your resistance piercing by 10% for each enemy in close range, by 2% up to an additional 10%. So this sort of stacks nicely with the capstone of the Trickster tree, which gets you anomaly power. So, you know, you're going to get, when you're in close range, you're going to get both resistance piercing and anomaly power for each enemy in close range. Last 3, Spectral Spike. Damaging skills have a 100% chance to deal additional damage equal to 15% of your anomaly power. Consecutive triggers on the same enemy stack, dealing more damage up to 750%. 0.5-second cooldown. So this is pretty good for bosses. And it just sort of helps you stack up more and more damage gradually as you hop around doing temporal blades again and again and again. So next off, we're going to go into the gear. So I've just upgraded base purples so that I can make sure I'm keeping the same gear more or less. You'll notice on all these underneath the armor, I've made sure all of them are anomaly power, just to absolutely maximize my anomaly power. The secondaries I look for after that, or sorry, the tertiaries, are generally close range damage, skill, life leech, as you can see on here, resistance piercing, and cooldown reduction are the main ones I look for. So as you can see, I got cooldown reduction on that one. Status power also isn't bad because you're going to do a decent amount of slowing as this class. We'll also quick cover ascension points. Obviously, anomaly power. I've put in resistance piercing second because this helps get your anomaly power or anomaly damage scale really nicely into apocalypse tiers. As enemies get more and more armor, the resistance is going to help more and more to just, ignore some of that armor. Anomaly damage is another big one. This is another really, really good one that will just, help you do that much more damage. After that, personally, I would probably suggest cooldown reduction, but you are going to get a lot of cooldown reduction from just from increasing apocalypse tiers because it gives you a modifier eventually. But other than that, getting more defense is never bad. You've got elite damage mitigation, which is pretty good. You can also go into brutality and get close range damage, which is going to be mostly for like when you're using a shotgun after you teleport in. Then obviously armor piercing is also pretty good, and weapon damage. But yeah, so that covers PAX points. Obviously that's way down the line because ascension points take a long time to build up. So let's go back to the gear. The modifications I have here. The helmet wasn't really one I was too, I basically just looked for another temporal blade ability to stack on top. And so I ended up with killing enemies with temporal blade, and it's 10% shields. Just sort of helps buff your shields more, but this is not a super important one. One that is kind of important to the way I play as Brawl. It makes your melee do significantly more damage, and melee also scales with anomaly power. So after you get all those buffs and you slide your melee in there, your melee is going to hit really, really hard. It's easily going to be able to take out smaller enemies. Another couple really important ones here are Thunderdome and Perseverance Shield. So as you can see, I looked for a chest piece with Perseverance Shield on it because I noticed it fairly commonly will show up as the secondary on chest pieces. And then I modded Thunderdome onto this one. So basically whenever I get low health, I'll get a free shield once every 5 seconds, and whenever Slow Trap ends, I get 100% shields, which is just another reason why you want to use Slow Trap pretty much on cooldown. You want to use it super often, as you'll see later. This is an excessively important piece. This increases the damage of Temporal Blade by a fairly significant amount. On top of that, I've modded the cooldown reduction. The cooldown reduction is not a super important one. It's just a nice little bit to help. If you have better mods, like say the one that I'll show you on here, which is Double Slice, Temporal Blade damages enemies are additionally cut with an anomaly slice, that would be a better option than say something like Cut Loose, because cooldown reduction is gradually going to get, become less and less of a problem just as you progress through Apocalypse tiers. Another one that is fairly important for at least the way I'm playing is Backstabber. Using a skill deals damage, so basically whenever you use Hunt Prey, it does damage to the enemy specifically that you target and teleport behind, which is very, very nice. It's just even more damage that you're putting out. And I'm not sure if it scales with anomaly damage. I actually haven't checked. Another very important one, obviously, is Slasher, so that you can use Temporal Blade twice in a row. This just helps you, put out more damage overall. Also, the additional CC from paralyzing the enemies. This one is also, like, the ones on this aren't super important, but they're helpful. I just picked, again, this was another one that I picked because it was another standard that had a hunt prey, mod that I could add on. So this causes your hunt prey to interrupt and inflict weakness to all enemies you teleport behind. So that means, yeah, the enemy you teleport behind will get weakness. Again, not a super great one. If you get like a secondary that's better than this, like something that makes it so you like deal more damage to people who are slowed, or just anything else fancy, you could technically drop this so you don't have that interrupt anymore, which will also mean enemies won't, like the elite enemies, while you're dancing around them, they won't become immune to CC as quickly because you're not chain attempting interrupts. If you chain attempt interrupts, enemies will fairly quickly become immune to interrupts for a period of time, which, you know, can be not great, especially with some of the bigger enemies. Hyperloop, though, is one that I picked up recently. I finally unlocked it, so I've been using that so that I can, you know, again, maintain like this buff and this buff easier, like more often, and then I can sort of jump around between the battlefield. Like I can go to a spot, jump in there, and then if I want, turn around and jump away. As you can also notice, all my cooldowns are very, very short, so I can use them very often. Anyway, we are going to hop into an expedition here. No telling exactly how well I'm going to do, but I'll do my best. I'm going to pick... Mountain Outpost is a bit of a longer one. Actually, I haven't done Boomtown on this person. Is my... One thing I'm going to check before we jump into this is that my gear is all up to par relatively. If my gear is not all up to par for 14, I might drop down. Yes, it looks like I only just unlocked 14. So we're actually going to drop ourselves down to 13 real quick. Just so this isn't... So I can give you the gist of this without licking the floor too much. But yeah, let's... Hey, Boomtown's a relatively short one, and I haven't done it yet, so we'll hop in here on Boomtown. The Trickster really can, from what I believe, the Trickster can probably really shine in this level.
I got something I need a hand with.
And I'm pretty sure my ammo's full. But anyway, I use mainly an assault rifle because it's, you know, balanced overall. Can use it at long range, relatively quick reload. And I use a shotgun, pump action mainly, just because of how much damage you can do with these. Oh, that was the wrong button. Still activates my buffs, though. The one thing that is you can sort of use Slow Trap to do is once you get in there, you can use it to assess where you're standing and where enemies are. As you can see, I'm just sort of rolling out, rolling back, getting myself reoriented. I'm gonna hop back in again. Put some Temporal Blades out, throw a melee out, and get back out. And as you see, they all just absolutely massacred. After I clear up this enemies, I actually... Oh, keep pushing the wrong button there. Lots of enemies, so I'm just going to drop that. On the map here. Those guys are down there. As you can see, my shields stay super high because I'm just constantly using abilities, which gives me the freedom to move around the battlefield. I keep doing that. I keep fat fingering the wrong button. I mean, get hunt prey. You can tell I haven't played Trickster in a few days. Not sure if I hit all of them. I did. Okay. Right? Yeah, I did. And as you see, I just, like with a single melee, I just killed 2 enemies there. That's how much damage my melee can do with this setup. That almost killed him, and I didn't have most of my buffs up. Anyway, just to show you the guns here, I found a shotgun with Violent Rupture. Violent Rupture has a little bit of a longer cooldown, but it does an immense amount of damage. And not as much as Ultimate Storm Whip, which is on a lower cooldown, but between the two of them, when they line up, even on bigger enemies, it does a substantial amount of damage. Also, I was lucky it had improved freeze bullets, so on occasion those bigger enemies can also throw a freeze in. This one I'm trying out. It's mainly for larger enemies as well as long range. It'll put down the Sandstorm plus Ravenous Locust, which all do a decent amount of damage over a longer period of time. So not as good in terms of, like, you know, the quick bursts of damage, but in terms of length, it's pretty decent so far from what I've used of it. That was not the place I want to be. Okay, let's teleport in here. Get in here. Put the storm down. That's another nice thing about the storms is, you know, drop them, and then you can just get back to, you know, punching enemies and shit like that. Oops, dodge for one time. As you can see, that elite, I've just melted him between my melee and stuff. I barely had to fire a shot on him. Again, barely had to fire a shot. Drop our shit there. If you could come out here so I can teleport behind you, that'd be great. There we go. Later. Waiting to summon. One of the other important parts about this build is sort of being aware with when you have cooldowns. Like, occasionally glancing down just to see where they're at. It can be harder for some people than others, depending on the size of your TV. I'm playing on a 55-inch TV, so about, you know, about 4 feet away from it, which probably shouldn't be that close, but, you know, definitely is easy for me to glance down and see what's going on down there. Get an ascension point. Might as well just spend that real quick and finish off our resistance piercing.
What the hell is that noise? It's like I've wandered into some maniac's idea of a party. Would you look at that? There's a pod.
Just chilling here for a few seconds and ooh. Yeah, this is going to be a bit dicey because this room is fairly congested. Nope, pressing X there instead of circle to dodge. Yeah, and see, even when I teleport sometimes I can just, if it's a smaller enemy, you can just do that. Don't even need to use Temporal Blade. See you later. Let's play! Yo, is he a YouTuber as well? Yo, are you uploading your gameplay footage as well? Here, we're gonna get out of there now, because I know there's a lot of enemies incoming. Thin their numbers a little bit. Come on. Swarm should tip him down a little bit. Temporal Blade did more than I thought it would there. I had all my buffs stacked up. Oh, and there you go. What do we got left? Oh, just this coward back here. Alright, well. See ya. And that is how I play my Trickster. We will see what we got here real quick. See if we get anything good. Just see if we get any spicy reactions on good legendaries.
The bandit leader's taken care of. Your pass is clear. Where'd these bandits come from anyway?
They
Come
were
on, give me something
insurgents.
good.
Defected to our side months ago. Thought they'd get an easier time, but
what
Oregon
do we
just
got here?
posted them right back to the
Ooh,
front.
Thunderbird.
Instead, they took off
Thunderbird's
and settled
actually
down
not
in
bad.
my territory. Why I gotta suffer for...
That's Ultimate Lightning Whip, I
Goddamn
believe.
idiot.
Yeah, I've
I'll
got a level
never know.
51, but it's 49. I might consider using that. Putting another good mod on it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed Revengeance. I hope you found this useful. You know, give you a little idea of how I play it. You know, maybe if this stuff works for you, maybe it won't. We'll definitely figure something out, and, you know, maybe try some different builds with you next time. Anyway, for the rest of you, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.